Welcome to the Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. The podcast that will connect you to resources regionally and nationwide to engage them in open, honest discussions so that we can inspire the growth that you need to chase the experience you want. So strap yourself in because here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Chasing Your Experience podcast. I'm your host, Sean Smith, and we've got another banger in store for you guys today. With me is we have a guest that we met up on TikTok, and I was it was another TikToker who I follow. They follow me that kind of led me into this. They also run a podcast themselves called 4C's WhiteTail. So they let me in on this guest that he's a great guy and has some great products out there and a good up and comer in the outdoor industry. So I figured this is a great chance to come and meet and get ahead of the game. So on the other line with us here is our guest, Devin Craig, who is a social media engineer. I don't know if that's the way you want to say it, but definitely big in social media, and also an up and coming entrepreneur in the outdoor industry. So everyone help me welcome Devin Craig. Devin, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
It's good to hear, man. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you letting me jump on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't wait. This is going to be a good one, I think, as we move through with this. So, man, you're a fellow Ohioan, as we found out. You're from the western part of the state. I'm over here in the eastern part of the state. So if people aren't too familiar with Ohio, you get that 71 divide on the east part. If you're east of 71, you get hills. On the west, you get flat farmland. So
cornfields and bean fields where I'm at.
And lots of them.
Lots of food around here.
So you should be grazing some corn-fed deer over that way, man.
Oh man, so I live in Champaign County, so we do have a lot of corn, a lot of beans, and yeah, we do got a lot of corn-fed giants.
Yeah, it's interesting because Ohio is usually one of those top states people talk about coming to, like Ohio, and I get a lot of negative comments every now and again because Ohio's looking at upraising their prices for non-residents. And so people are like, oh, Ohio's not any better than Kentucky. Ohio's this. I'm like, I get that. But man, we're like a modge podge of like different landscapes, because you hear about the giants of out west, like the true Midwest, that is all farmland, the Kansas, the Iowas, things like that, where it's just nothing but farmland. In Ohio, you get a pretty good mix of those, and we produce some pretty big deer here in Ohio. And I don't mean to like keep self-promoting to take up all this, but we produce some big ones.
Dude, it's not unlikely to have 2, 3 150s on camera a year, and that's just for one property. I don't really lease. I'm more of like knock and get permission kind of guy. But I got a couple handfuls of properties that I hunt, and like I said, it's not unlikely to see 3 or 4 150s in that. Last year I'm hunting this property. It's roughly 150 acres. I say 150. A lot of that's crop fields, and then maybe a 25-30 acre woods. And that property let alone held 2 really good ones that were 150 and up.
Yeah, Ohio has a really good potential for growth of deer. I think we're on a cusp, though. If you listen to DNR talk, we're on a cusp, though, where our population might be getting a little too high when it comes to our antlerless deer. So they've really been pushing for us to kind of reduce those numbers. And it's kind of twofold. And there's something that was kind of, I understand that, everyone, it's kind of like that quote from, I think it's Nixon, who says trust but verify. And I think it's the same when you hear stuff from like the Division of Wildlife or anybody that obviously, whatever you hear from, trust but verify what they're saying. But there was one thing that when I had a conversation with the just recently retired deer program administrator, he's like, well, if you look at the Buckeye Big Buck Club, the number of like deer that are coming into the books, technically that number is rising. But if you take that comparison of the number of deer that are making it into the books, that compare that to the number of antler deer that are shot, that percentage is dropping. So in other words, it's a lower percentage of bucks are being shot that are being brought into the record books. He's like, and that's not because people are shooting younger deer, which if that's what you want to do, I'm not against that. Like you chase the experience you want. But what I'm saying
Right.
is he's like, we are starting to see a decline in the quality of our deer herd when it comes to our antler deer. And he's like, one of the big issues behind that is just the overpopulation that we have. And we are trying to get ahead of it, but we need people like you, people like, me to help in that. So yeah, we have potential. We got a lot of
Oh,
potential.
absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of potential in Ohio, man.
I know,
It
I think every year, I think we average at the Buckeye Big Buck Club, I think they bring in somewhere between 11 to 13 200-inch deer every year into the club.
Yeah. And dude, I got a couple guys around local where I'm at that are Buckmaster scorers, and dude, they're constantly every year, I'm seeing 50 plus deer going in the books. So
Yeah,
definitely a lot of potential.
there's definitely a lot of potential. Well, Devin, you are a first time comer on the podcast. So I want to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself, your background, what brought you into the outdoors, and then, what kind of led you to where you are today, man. So the mic is yours, man. Let's let the crowd know who you are and all about you.
All right. Well, I'm Devin Craig. I'm the owner of WhiteTail Addicts and Turkey Tweakers. Them are my two brands that I do on the side. And I'm originally started off as a content creator, and I got into hunting mainly because my dad, it was something that me and him shared together and always did growing up as a young boy, and just really fell in love with the outdoors, man. Fell in love with hunting, and I was that kid that was, shooting anything I see, and if it was brown, it's down. You know how it is in Ohio.
Hmm.
Grew up that way, always have. Just got tired of killing so many small bucks, so I started focusing on bigger ones, and it kind of led me into the passion that I'm in now of, trying to harvest mature bucks only. And yeah, got into turkey hunting this year, heavily. I say got into it. I've been turkey hunting, but I've just never really had them on my properties where I hunt at. Ended up getting a couple properties this year with some turkeys on it, and was pretty successful this year. And me and a couple of my buddies ended up getting some pretty good toms. Just really love the passion for it, man. Just love getting out, enjoying it, and just what God gave us, and slowly transitioning into my own brands and promoting them and coming out with a new product this year. And it's actually I got three different ones. I got a dominant doe estrus. It's called Drama Queen. Thought that was like
Hmm.
the perfect name for it. I also got Superstar, which is named after my biggest buck to date. It's a dominant buck urine. And
Hmm.
then I also got Scrape Addict, which is it's a tarsal gland mix with buck urine and doe urine. And this stuff's been killer, man. A lot of guys been purchasing this one off of me and using it right now in the summertime, and I mean they're just absolutely hammering it. So hoping to come up with that and slowly get into the hunting industry, man.
Well, there is definitely a lot of avenues you can take inside the industry. We're always we're always looking for something that can help us a little, just to achieve the next level, the next level up, the next level up. Like, and anything we can find that helps us build that confidence to get out there and do that, man. Or we see
Right.
the results from it. That's always there's space for it, right? There's space, and any industry really has a space for somebody, especially if you're going to be innovative and actually help move the needle. So, I mean, that's
Absolutely.
and I'm glad to see young people getting involved in this and trying to keep this going on because, we can see a trend where young people are getting out of it. They don't do it, because they other endeavors or just the lack of mentorship and stuff. But before we really start diving down into like really narrowing down on the products and stuff that you have out there, um, first and foremost, like congratulations on your harvest of a turkey this year. Or
Appreciate
we're
that.
down we're down to one bearded turkey this year because our
Yeah,
population hasn't been that great. And I don't want to play devil's advocate or get too much into politics, but I think it's a perfect storm of just how our springs have been. They've been very wet. It's been hard for ground nesting
very
birds to
wet.
nest.
Yeah,
And then you deal with the rise in raccoon populations because the fur trade isn't what it used to be.
no,
Um, Possum, and then now the rise of bobcats, which I'll ask you that here in a minute. But in our area, we have significant amount of bobcats that are starting to appear. But I don't know how it is for you guys out west, but definitely here in the eastern part of Ohio, we're getting a lot of that are showing up.
so I'm 29 years old. I've seen one.
One
So I
bobcat.
mean, one bobcat, and I was actually just driving down the road, and I just happened to look over. I was just crossing some fields, and I seen it, and I was like, "Man, that's a big house cat." And then I threw the binos on it, and was like, "No, dude, that's a bobcat."
That ain't
So
no.
I that shocked me. My taxidermist actually, he's about 30 minutes from me, more north, and he actually got one from the DNR and mounted it. That was a roadkill, and that was Logan County. So I mean, they're starting to come back around. So I mean, that would be cool. I mean, it would be cool if we actually got a big population. They would allow a hunting season for him. I think that would be awesome.
Well, that's an uphill battle, unfortunately, in today's world. People are uber sensitive with predators, and
Yeah, yeah.
and
I'm a big coyote hunter too.
Division of Wildlife, I think. Now, I haven't heard this officially from them. Now, I will say that this came from somebody who is connected to them in a way. Is that their big concern about trying to go to the ballots or trying to bring in a bobcat season because Ohio State, which is their primary research partner, has said for several years that there is a sustainable population of bobcats in Ohio that would allow for a limited like trappings or hunting season for them. The Division of Wildlife, though, is concerned that if they go forward with this, it's going to cost them millions of dollars in fights to get it through and to help and to keep it going from all the external special interest groups filing lawsuits against them to stop it.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in today, and I hate
Yeah.
every minute of it. Like
Yeah.
we've given too much power. I mean, oh man, I gotta be careful saying this, but we have taken the power away from the people who probably should have the power, who has the knowledge and the experience to actually do what needs to be done, and to
Right. We the people.
where everybody has become the expert. And unfortunately, not everybody's the expert in everything.
No. Yeah, I agree with you there.
But the experts themselves that have not done themselves any favor, and I'm not talking just Division of Wildlife, I'm just talking about any experts because of just some recent things we deal with. It's hard to trust anything. Like the information that comes out, what is real, what isn't. So I get it. There's a lot of back to a previous statement, trust but verify, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, we actually, if you go through my TikTok, I've got some great videos. I got a video of a bobcat playing with one of my mock scrapes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then we've got one female that had I think a litter of 4 or 5 that I've got on camera on that I was watching a scrape that I catch every now and again that she'd be coming through.
It's crazy
Um,
how sporadic they are. It's kinda like turkeys, man. Like, one property I got here in Champaign County, no turkeys, never seen them. Run cameras year-round faithfully, never had a turkey on it. Go 10 miles down the road, and that's where I ended up harvesting my turkey this year and loaded with them. So, it's crazy how sporadic, you know, wildlife can actually be.
yeah, and I think here's another problem I think that we run into with turkey in Ohio is a lot of our areas is starting to mature. Like a lot of the woods I hunt or a lot of the properties I hunt, there's like more mature woods. And so there's not a lot of undergrowth. There's not a lot of underbrush.
Right.
And so it's not how do I say this? It's not really appealing to turkeys, especially, nesting turkeys and things because their fledglings don't stand a chance in the open like that. They like
Mhm.
the underbrush and stuff so they can
Yep,
hide or there's shrubs and there's
yep,
easy access to food and things. So
yep.
I think that's another problem we might run into too. But you know, I'm not a forestry person, nor am I a biologist, and I did not stay in the Holiday Inn last night. So,
Right.
well, man, like I said, congratulations on your turkey. I bought a tag this year. I had every intentions of going out. I think I'm gonna go this weekend. I think I'm gonna go out a couple times, see if we can.
It's the last weekend.
It's the
Better get
last
out there.
hurrah. I think I'm gonna go out and try it, man. Um, so let's dive into turkey tweakers for a minute. Let's get that out there. So what is turkey tweakers? What do you do with it? What's going on there?
So Turkey Tweakers is just my content that I post for turkey hunting. It's for all you turkey tweakers. If you read the bio, you can find it on Facebook. I don't have a Instagram, TikTok, or nothing like that for it. I just kind of came out with a turkey brand. That way I could have some content to post in the springtime during the off season for deer. And I kind of noticed a lot of like hunting companies do that. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of take turkey hunting serious. It's pretty addicting, dude. It gets you fired up when you get set up and you hear that tom fire off the limb, and it's it's honestly I try to tell some of my buddies this year. I'm like, dude, it's almost like shooting a 180-inch deer. It really is. Like it's super addicting. It's fun. It's not like a quiet hunt. You don't really gotta, you know what I mean? Like you're constantly like moving around, bouncing spots, and it's just super fun, dude. So I came out with Turkey Tweakers and mainly just content, just a content page, just to follow along the journey. And got a couple guys, spaced out through the states. I got some guys in West Virginia, Kentucky that send some content. So
Mhm.
shout out B&B Custom Game Calls, Michael Hawk. He's a cool dude. He's part of Turkey Tweakers. He's in West Virginia. He makes custom calls. I don't have it near me. I'd show you guys, but it's pretty cool. He does some really good calls, slate calls, mouth calls. He's actually made my grunt call. It's custom with the WhiteTail Addicts logo on it. So shout out
Nice,
to him. But yeah, dude,
nice,
just mainly content page for all the turkey tweakers, man. A lot of turkey hunters nowadays.
man. I agree with you that when the turkeys are fired up,
Oh,
there's
dude,
almost nothing like it, right? That just
man.
hearing all that excitement, or you hear that gobble as he's getting closer to you, and he's coming in. Like
Yeah.
it's the anticipation, the
Yeah.
excitement for it.
Yeah, so my buddy Darren, I actually got him out this year, and um dude, awesome hunt. I laid some amazing footage and it was pitch perfect, you know what I mean? We got in there super early, we got set up, got the decoys out, had some deer come in, check out the decoys, they walked off. About that 6:37, he started firing off on the limb. We hit him with a little fly down. He hit us back. We started hitting him a little bit more with some clucks, some purrs. He fired back, cut us off, so we just shut up, dude. And next thing you know, here he is. He actually came running in right to the decoy, strutted up, and got it all in film. And he ended up getting him at 20 yards. So that was
Nice,
awesome. Took my one of my childhood best friends out, same property, kind of the same situation. Um, got out, set up, got the decoys out. He fired off, hit him with a couple calls. He kind of shut up a little bit though. This was last Friday, so we're kind of getting into the transition into the later season part. So they're getting a little tougher. So he gobbled twice that whole time. From the time he flew down till he committed, he only gobbled twice, and it took him. I think he got that bird around 8:15. So it took him a little bit to commit and actually come in, but man, when he seen that Tom and them decoys, it was over, dude. He came right in, and he ended up getting him at about 20 yards too.
nice.
Mine, mine. I actually got mine opening day in Ohio. We got set up. We heard probably 50 gobbles. Hit him with a fly down. He was right in our lap. I was tagged out by 7:30. And all good toms, man. Mine was a 9 7/8 beard. He had an inch and a quarter and an inch and a spurs. Darren's he had the longest beard. His was 10 and an eighth, I believe, but his spurs were about roughly an inch. And then Nathan's bird was 9 7/8 beard and had about inch spurs too. So
Nice.
All good mature birds.
Yes, yeah, sounds like it. So, what's your favorite thing to do with them? One, you got the deer. I'm sorry, you got the turkey down, you got the tom down. Getting ready to clean them out. What is your favorite thing to do with them? What's your go to? And I want to take a moment to talk about something that has transformed my approach to hunting. That's mock scrapes. I was introduced to the Scrape Doctor system 2 years ago in Columbus, Ohio, and let me tell you, it changed my game. If you're looking to dive into mock scrapes or just need a fresh perspective, I highly recommend checking out scrapedoctor.com. Their insights have been invaluable, and it's been great to see how my skills have developed since that first meeting. What's more, our relationship has blossomed into a fantastic friendship. And to celebrate that, I want to share an exclusive deal with you. Use code CountryFried15 at scrapedoctor.com to save 15% on your purchase. Trust me, you won't regret it.
So actually, that was actually my first bird this year. So what I did, I was looking into the full body. It's kind of hard to find people around where I'm at that do full body turkeys.
Mhm.
So I just went with it's kind of like a half body. It's got the fan, the beard, and kinda
Mhm.
like the head and the shoulders, a breast mount, I guess you should say. So I
Mhm.
breasted mine out, got it in the freezer, and I took it up there, and he's gonna do that for me. But I think I don't know, man, just take pictures with it because I mean, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it really was, and I'm gonna make I was looking up some recipes, and I'm gonna make them. They're called gobbler poppers. So you take the breast and you cut it in chunks
Mhm.
and you roll it in bacon and you throw it in some like Cajun seasoning. You toss that in the oven and you cook that for like 15 minutes, I think is what it said on like 350. And then you
Mhm.
pull it out and then you drizzle honey on it, toss it back
Mm.
in the oven for a couple minutes, pull it back out. And then he said it's not all, you gotta add more honey, so put more honey on it. And those look fire, dude. Like I
That does
Yeah.
sound pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna try that. But honestly, that was my first turkey, dude, so I
Well,
can't really
congratulations.
say, what I love to do with them. But when I got mine, I was definitely excited. Definitely took a lot of pictures.
I remember when I got my first one, I was looking at it, I'm like, man, I'm excited. And then I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? Because I've never really thought a whole lot about it. So I started
Right,
scouring the internet and
right.
good old Michael Waddell. I'm like, thank God for you, buddy. Because he
Yeah,
showed,
dude, honestly, that's what I did. I got on YouTube and I just looked up like how to breast a turkey, and it was Michael Waddell, and he just kind of walked you through. And dude, it's actually super easy. Like there was
it
no
is.
blood, no guts, nothing. Like super
It is.
easy to breast a bird.
Now, I know some people like to do like the full, like, they'll pluck them and do the whole body thing. I think
Yeah,
what some people, I don't, what I think people who don't hunt need to understand is that a wild turkey is not the same as your store bought turkey. They are nowhere near as
yeah,
big.
yeah,
Um, so and maybe I shouldn't say this, but maybe it'll turn some people off. But like, it's not so there's some very limited stuff you're going to get off usable stuff you're going to get off an actual wild turkey, right? So the
right.
breast, you might get some legs, but I've noticed the legs are very
I
tendony.
was I was gonna ask you that. So I was gonna ask if you ate any of your legs. So when I took mine to my taxidermist, I was like, "Man, are we about to like?" I'm thinking like a chicken wing. I'm like, "Is there any meat on the wings? Like, is can I eat the
Mhm.
legs?" And he actually cut one out and showed me how like number one, like depending on how big the bird is, you're not really getting that much off of it. It's like a
They're
drumstick,
not-
dude, honestly. And then,
mhm.
like you said, very tendony. Like he started cutting it and showing me. He was like, "Dude, I've killed probably 150 birds, and I've never touched the legs on one." So I
Yeah,
just kind of went off of his advice, you know what I mean? So really, the only meat that I got was the breast. But like you said, dude, you kill a 25 pound tom, you're getting some big breast meats off of that
yeah.
guy.
You are. You are. But the wings, like when you see a store bought turkey, like the turkey legs and the wings you
Yeah.
see on the store bought is not what you get off a wild
No,
turkey at,
absolutely not.
at all. It's not at all. Um,
No.
and I don't want to add any of the confusion of the people who don't hunt out there because there's enough on there. Because did you see the social media meme going around where it was funny where it's like, stop killing all the turkeys to make your bourbon? Making fun of the wild turkey. Yeah, dude. When I shot mine, and I'm not. I told you off air. I get excited for turkey hunting when the turkey are talking, but outside of that,
Right,
like it's not like it does not drive me to wake up early in the morning to go. Like it's not one of those
right.
things, right? But
See,
wha-
I talked to quite a few guys that hunt birds, and they kind of told me too, kind of the same thing. It was just kind of like an off year. He was like one thing that he pointed out to me, my taxidermist. He was like if you look at all the birds' wings that we took them up there, and they were just all just buzzed down where they've been strutting and dragging. And he was like, dude, I was seeing birds in early April strutting. So he like they kind of shut up a little early. He feels like
Mhm.
around that May 1st is when it kinda just shut down around here.
I've always thought Ohio season came in a little late, anyways. Because if you go down to Southern Ohio, like the birds are I think we were March. We went on a really early hike down in Wayne National Forest, and the turkeys were just firing. Like I think we come to me personally, I think on a hunter perspective for ease of the hunt, I think we come in a little late. But
Yeah,
however, on the conservation side, maybe not so much because we give some time for them to um get some early breeding done so the next generation's already
right.
started, so I don't know. It's a damned if you
See,
do, damned if you won't.
right, and I kinda just kinda go, like, it's kinda, like, no different than a deer, you know what I mean? Like, some turkeys might be about it at that time, and some just might not, you know what I mean? Like, we were actually on a hunt, it was a couple Fridays ago. Actually, I think it was about around May 1st. It was, light rain that morning, we got out, they were firing off the limb. And, he ended up flying down, coming out into the open crop field where we were set up on, and we had the decoys out, and he didn't care nothing about him, dude. He just kinda strolled on by, kinda came, went around him, but he stayed out, a good 50 yards, so, we had decoy probably 25, 30, so he was about 75 yards, and my buddy just didn't wanna take, a 75-yard shot on him, and,
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't really care, and then, like I said, dude, that next Friday, we went out and that one came running right into us, same decoy, strutted up, got some awesome footage. So I just it's kinda like the deer, man. Like you throw a grunt at a certain buck, he might not like that. But you
Uh-uh.
throw it at one that, is about it, he's coming.
He's like, who are you and what are you doing here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think anyone who's hunted deer long enough who've gotten to the game of calling has seen that. Like you've got your ones who are uber aggressive and will come to a
Yeah,
fight, and then you have ones that nope, want nothing to do with it.
right.
As soon as you grunt, they're like, nope, I'm out. You touch the
Yeah,
horns, nope, I'm out.
yeah.
And then you got
See,
some that
I have a lot of success with, rattling. I think that's probably one of my favorites.
it used to be like it depends. Like every now and again, I'll get a buck that's in the right mood to come into it. I hate to say this, but the best call that I've ever had for like a doe estrus call has been that stupid can from Primos. It's like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I have tried. Yeah, I have tried so many different doe bleat calls that, and then when you actually sit and listen to a doe, like I got some. I don't know if I actually got the footage of it. I think I did because I was sitting late season and I heard this doe start bleating, and it sounded just like the freaking can. Nothing like any of the doe bleat calls I've ever used. I mean, they're close, don't get me wrong, but that stupid can sounds, and this is not a commercial for the Primos can, like it's not this. I'm just telling you, like in my experience, that's been the closest, most realistic sound. And I've had a lot of bucks cover a lot of distance to that. I've actually pulled bucks off of does that they were chasing. I would hit that can and they'd turn and they'd come right in. They'd start coming into me.
My dad, to this day, still has it was like a limited edition. It was back when Mike Beatty killed that giant here in Ohio, and they
Yeah.
actually put him on that can. My dad still to this day carries that in his pocket.
I think he still owns that, still holds that record too.
I
Mike
believe
Beatty.
yeah, I think he does.
I think he still does.
Could you
That was
imagine, dude?
that's a big deer.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Well, then you had that one that CJ Alexander poached. So
Yeah, that was dude, that It was so crazy because I remember I was telling my fiance when that first became a thing, I was like, "Man, this kid's story, dude, just doesn't sound right. Like, how do
Yeah.
you like you took 0 daylight pictures. Like, if I kill a deer of that caliber, dude, I'm cheesing ear to ear holding that thing. Like, it was just did not make sense, and then when it originally all came out that it was ended up being poached, I was like, "Man, you just gotta be a dummy, dude." He went on, like, podcasts with, like, the hunter and,
Hmm.
like like, you gotta be a different kind of person just to get on a podcast and just straight lie like that.
It was greed. I think it was really was greed is what it was. Trying to cash
Right.
in on something and greed. I think greed over outwon intelligence at that point. And then, I don't want to tread too much into it, but like he just money
It seemed
sign.
almost like he was just really in it for, like, trying to get money, dude, and just, like,
Mhm.
get
That,
rich off of
that
killing a big deer.
that's exactly what it was. And it is unfortunate, but now he's going to owe the state, thousands of dollars.
Oh
Fine.
my
I know
god, I
I think
forget
it's
how much it was,
30,000
but it was something crazy.
yeah, like 30 some $1,000 and
Yeah.
stuff. And so,
Mm,
and
probably
you know
lost
what?
its hunt license for so many years, and it's just
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. I
off
mean,
of
it off a deer.
yeah,
That
yeah,
wasn't even where you said it was, man. That's insane. Then not everyone else you brought down with you when you did that because but you know what?
right,
They're
and,
adults.
like, wasn't it, like, a lawyer or something's property or
Yeah, I think it was like a ex-prosecutor or maybe one of the
yeah,
assistants, something like that's not I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was a prosecutor. Someone had something to do with the prosecutor because I remember him
right.
saying like, "That's the only reason they're really looking into this is because he was a prosecutor." I'm like, "No, no, there's
No, they're
probably
looking into it because you were trespassing, number 1, you illegally harvested a giant,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
like, just knowing that it was gonna get attention, like,
yeah."
that's like, dude,
Like everybody in Ohio knows that if there's a giant deer, I love how everybody clams up when they have a giant deer. I'm like, trust me, everybody in your area knows that deer is there because
absolutely,
that deer is not staying on your property. Like he's probably got a 2 to 3 mile radius that he's in. There's other neighbors that knows that that deer is there. The only thing you're
100%.
saving, the only thing you're saving is from somebody from out of the area come knocking on someone's door, maybe get access to hunt that deer. That's the only thing you're saving. That's it. Like everyone else who hunts,
That's happened to me quite a few times. Over the
yeah.
actually, the last 4 years, man, I'll be on some really good ones, dude. I was on this one buck in particular, 2 years ago, and he was right around that 160s. I had named him Stickers. Dude, thousands, I'm talking thousands of trail camera pictures, videos of this guy.
Mhm.
Daylight, I've got pictures of him bedding down right on my camera. I actually had this deer in front of me twice. He came in, it was early season, early October, so it was, like, not getting dark until around 7, and, I was set up inside the woods, so, by 6:45, it's already starting to get dark. Well, he ended up coming out, dude. I had this deer 22 yards, full draw, couldn't see my pin. So I just let him walk. I let him go, and he ended up walking right past my creek camera and got
Uh,
pictures of him and everything. And then so I was super bummed. And then the very next day, I was like, dude, the weather's perfect. The wind's right. I was like, I got to get back in there, dude. He's gonna come right back from that creek because I knew where he was going. I knew where he bedded and stayed. And so that very next day, dude, I got back in the stand. Dude, it was within 2 minutes. He came right back through there. I got a picture of him on my camera. I knew he was gonna walk right up through that funnel right to me. I look on my camera, I verify it's him, so I go ahead and grab my bow, get the camera rolling and everything. I get set up, and he did too. He came right out the same trail, stood right there in that opening, and I came to full draw. I just could not see my pin, dude. So I ended up just letting him go again. I was like, he's in here, it'll happen. And it wasn't a week later that deer got harvested on the next property over, which I actually have permission for as well by another kid. So I mean, congrats to him. It was crazy. And dude, I found out. I literally was just scrolling through Facebook and that Ohio deer page. I don't know if you're a
mhm.
part of that group or not. Dude, I
No.
seen the picture. I seen the picture of that deer on that page and I'm like, that dude, that looks like Stickers. So I do my investigation. I click on the guy and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, "Dude, no way." I seen the area where it said he lived. I was like, "No way." So I ended up messaging the kid, and he was like I was like, "Where'd you get that deer, man?" He's like, "Do you have the white Chevy?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I got it where you were hunting tonight." And I was like, "No way, man."
Mm,
But I ended up harvesting the other one that was out there. There was 2 really good deer. Mine was he went 148, and that one was 160, so I ended up getting the other big one, and it was kinda funny with that story too because that kid got that deer, and he was kinda like, "Yeah, I kill big ones every year, blah, blah, blah," like, just trying to, like, gloat in a way.
yeah.
And so when I got Superstar, I was like, "Yeah, I usually kill big ones too every year." I messaged him back. I sent him some pictures of Superstar because he was asking me if I got pictures of that deer because he was getting pictures of my deer that I harvested that he was actually after, and then I was getting pictures of stickers. Well, that time changed, they kind of flop properties, which is only a mile in between.
Hmm.
So Superstar came to my side and stickers went to his side. And I've seen, I hate to be that way, but like if I see another person hunting a property, dude, I tend to stay out. I don't care how good it is. Number one, I know how big deer are. They don't like human pressure. So
Right.
if there's, 3 or 4 different guys going in there hunting and putting pressure on it, pretty actively, I'm not going in there, man.
Yeah.
The property where I'm set up, I'm the only one that hunts it. So if I, go in once a week, put some corn out, freshen up some mock scrapes and switch some batteries on the cameras and come out, they tend to stay there.
Hmm.
So it was just crazy how, he did it, dude. He traveled within that 1 week, 1 mile, and that kid ended up harvesting him.
Yep. I
But
mean,
like I said, congrats to him, dude. It is what it is. That's part of hunting.
yeah. Well, I think that problem solving. I mean, I don't think it's a problem. Let me phrase it. Like, I think that's going to be more common because if you start to notice that with the way Ohio real estate's going, is that all these big farms are getting broke down into multiple little parcels. So everyone's
Yep,
buying little pieces. Like, so more and more people, and these parcels are getting smaller, and at the same time, like, so these deer aren't just staying on that 20 acre. I mean, even if you have like a 200 acre farm, that deer's not staying on the 200 acre farm. Like she, it, whoever, they're all, he might bet on you, but he's going somewhere else. Like
yep.
it's going to happen.
And
We,
I actually got proof of that. So I am partnered with 4C Whitetail Deer, like you'd mentioned in the beginning. I'm also the social media rep for 4C. So I do a lot of work for 4C, and we do a lot of like intel together, testing his products and stuff. And so this was last season. I was putting out his product Hardy Buck, which is a liquid mineral attractant.
uh
And this was at my one farm. And then like I said, dude, I have tons of hunting properties. So I have another property. It's about 3 miles away. It's crossing 2 roads and about, like I said, 3 miles of field and 2 roads. And I was putting Hardy Buck out there, and no, no BS, dude, was getting the same deer at that property on the other property 3 miles apart. Same buck, 100%. Got tons of pictures, videos to prove it's 100% the same deer. And not
yeah,
just one, like, there was multiple different bucks that I was getting within that 3 miles.
yeah,
And that's like I said, that's crossing 2 roads as well.
uh
So, I mean, they definitely travel. So,
they do, they do.
it's not like you see on TV, like, where it's like, "Oh, well, you get in their bedroom where they live and you kill them." Like, it's a lot easier said than done. Like, this ain't TV. We're hunting free range whitetail deer, you know what I mean?
And I get it, and we all know that. I mean, I think a reasonable person would know that, or they should.
I would
Um,
hope so.
I just the thing that tweaks me the most, and I understand a lot of people do put some time and effort into some certain large deer, and I get that. But when they get so butthurt and angry when someone else legally harvested the deer. Now, in CJ Alexander's case, yeah, I think you have a legitimate gripe to be
Absolutely.
mad at him
Yeah,
because he cheated, right?
right.
However, let's say he did that 100% legal. Yeah, I might be a little, how do I put this? Like, it's a chapter of a book that I didn't get to close, but at the same time, like, it's not my deer.
Right, yeah,
It's not
yeah,
my deer. Like,
exactly.
it's
Right.
our deer. And um, yeah, I guess it could be frustrating, and there could be a little bit of like you might be let down a little bit, but just some of the pure hatred, anger, and or just spite that some people can get into because of stuff like that. That's the stuff that tweaks me the most.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, dude,
See,
like there's
so I hunt a couple different properties with a few of my buddies, and we find deer that like we want to harvest, and we kind of like pick them in between. Like, yeah, if you want to kill him, that's your deer, quote. But I'm not like that. Like I've told my buddy Darren, who hunts the same property as me, there's a deer that we've been chasing for the last 3 years now, and I mean, absolute mega monster. I'll have to send you some pictures when we get done. But
Mhm.
he's a giant, and this year he's gonna be a true mega. And that deer was daylight, and then with my work schedule, I just wasn't able to make it out that much last year, and he was kind of staying out of there for that reason because if he would go out there, he had a pretty good chance at pick six. And I told him, I was like, dude, if he walks out in front of you and you walk him because you know how bad I want that deer, I will straight kick you in the nuts, dude. Like, like if that deer walks out in front of you, dude, I would be just as happy to see you harvest him if I harvested him. And
Yeah,
if you did say that deer walked out in front of you and you walked him and then he goes on the neighbors and someone else kills him, I'm gonna be mad, dude. Like I would much rather see you harvest him than someone else or myself. Like
right.
that's just kind of hitting that topic a little bit, like I don't know. I don't really get mad like that. I might, like you said, I might get a little, like salty or whatever because like you didn't get to close the chapter. But at the end of the day, they're not our deer. They don't walk around with a name tag on them that says property of so and so.
This deer belongs to Sean Smith. Leave
Yeah,
him alone.
right. Yeah,
Honestly, in Ohio, that'd be the quickest way to get that deer shot. Like, oh, look at there, pow!
honestly, honestly,
Look at that. All right, man. Well, sounds like you got a deep passion for deer hunting, and you put some
absolutely.
time and you put some time and effort into the off season and stuff. And
Oh,
obviously,
365 days, dude. That's how you lay big ones down, bro. Like you got to put the time and money into it.
yes, you do. And so you got this Whitetail Addicts brand that you are diving into now, and
Yep.
you've got right now you have what, the 3 cents that you showed us. You had the
Yep.
and I'm not naming them specific, but you have a dominant buck, you have a doe urine, and then you have a scrape blend that you are producing.
Sure.
So when we about ready to turn it over to you to kind of go all through these, but the main thing I'm curious about is how do these play into your hunting strategy? How can another hunter looking to maybe not copy, but what would be the best practice for another hunter using these products? Well, what would be best practice when you were answering this? Kind of think of that as you go through.
Okay. So, like I said, I do have this scrape scent right here. This is probably the number one seller right now. And that's kind of why I came out with the Scrape Addict is to give hunters a year-round scent. This is no like estrus. So like when you're putting this out, this is straight doe urine and straight buck urine with a hint of tarsal gland and preorbital forehead gland scent mixed in with it. So like a
Mhm,
lot of guys get kind of steered away like, wow, you're spraying that on a rope. I'm like, "Yes," but, like, deer are very nasty. Like, they're nasty, dude, like, they pee right down the back of their legs, like so, yes, like, I do put this on a rope, and I have thousands of pictures to prove that this stuff really works, and,
mhm,
I think this one right here would help guys quite a bit as far as, like, intel through the summer, like, a lot of guys don't know that, like, deer hit scrapes year-round, like, they just think it's kind of like a rut thing. But that
mhm,
is, like, absolutely not true, like, this right here is how deer communicate, through scrapes, through I use a lot of ropes, a lot of vines and stuff like that. If I can find a natural, hanging, those are great too. If you are walking, scouting woods and you find 3 or 4 trails that meet up together and got an overhang, 9 times out of 10, you're finding a scrape right there.
mhm,
And what that like, a lot of guys too need to understand like the difference between like a scrape that's just made once during the pre-rut versus a community scrape. If you can build a community scrape, a actual communication hub, and that's kind of like in the description on a Scrape Addict. If you can create a social hub for deer That way every deer knows, like, each other and gets to know each other. Dude, they'll use it every day, and I have thousands of pictures to prove that. And, I do got this on the market now. I'm partnered through Alpine Hunting Company, so, you can purchase this stuff directly through me by sending me a message, or you can purchase it through Alpine, and every single guy that's, purchased bottle off of me has sent me nothing but great results. So, I mean, this is definitely one that you wanna hone in on right here, and it's, Scrape Addict.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool little logo. It's got my logo on it, a deer
Yeah, I see that.
thrashing a scrape. So, I mean, these are 4-ounce bottles. It's not synthetic. This is all pure right here. So you're kinda getting a little better bang for your buck, price point and, 4-ounce bottle versus a 2-ounce or a 3-ounce. I don't
Mhm.
really wanna bash any other known companies, but, I mean, this stuff right here is a game changer, and I'm not just saying that because it's my own brand. It really is, and it's some good stuff. We could jump into the superstar. So, my biggest deer, I actually named the dominant buck after my biggest deer I harvested, which I named Superstar. And this is just a dominant buck urine. And I mean, it works great too in scrapes if you're trying to really, piss off another dominant buck in the area. You put some of
Mhm.
this on the ground or anywhere in your hunting area, you'll have some good results with this too. Haven't really experimented with this one as much as I do like the Scrape Addict because, like I said, this is a new product for me. So super excited to get out, this fall and get this rolling.
Yeah, I think that would be like if you got into decoy hunting, I think that'd be a good addition to your decoy. You
Absolutely. So I'm a big decoy guy. I love using decoys, especially in that
Mhm,
pre-rut. Pre-rut,
mhm,
I'll tend to use a buck, and then you move into November, pop the antlers off and use a doe, and that's where like the drama queen would be really good too. Drama queen it's actually not just a doe; it's the dominant herd doe. So your mature bucks, yeah, they're going around, they're checking, but they want mama, you know what I mean? They want the mature, ready to breed doe, and they're usually the first ones to come in estrus is your mature does. So, and a mature buck knows that. So, when you put this out, a mature buck's gonna know that there's a dominant doe that's in estrus and she's ready to be
mhm.
bred, and he's gonna stick around until he finds her, finds this wherever you put it, and you're gonna get a shot on a good deer. And like I
Yeah.
said, these are all new products that I have on the market. They're 18.99 a bottle for a 4-ounce bottle. I tried to compare my prices with a lot of like known companies
Mhm,
and just what I've invested in, these is I feel like that's a fair price point, especially for a
mhm,
4-ounce bottle. One of these will last you all season. So,
mhm. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's doing really well. Like I said, I've had a lot of sales and ended up getting partnered with Alpine. So they're super excited to be working with me as well. And I've actually had a couple different guys reach out. The Scrape Rope Company has reached out to me wanting to do some partnerships together. And
Well,
so
good.
it's
So
definitely getting
getting out
recognized.
there. It's getting out there,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I like we talked a little bit, and well, I'm gonna dive into scrapes here in a minute. But back to like I've had usually when it comes to the use of urine, like if I'm successful with that, like I'm usually in tandem with a decoy or something along those lines,
Yeah.
right? And I just finished recording an episode with Brent from A3 Archery Custom Bowstrings, and let me tell you, I'm impressed. Brent has over 30 years of experience building custom bowstrings, and it all started from his own personal need as a professional indoor archer, needing a set of strings and cables that he could rely on for precision and consistency, and not constantly dealing with peep twist or bows coming out of time. Brent offers both platinum and premium sets of strings. Platinum strings are made from the new B99 bloodline fiber. You're not going to find a better fiber out there. And the premium strings is from the old and true BCY 452X. So if you're in the market for a set of strings and precision and consistency is at the top of your list, check out a3archery.com. and order your set today. And as a special treat, use the code Countryfied. It'll save you 15% on your next set. Something that gives that visual cue other than just send. Um,
Absolutely.
now, but scrapes is one of those things that, I did a podcast at where was I at? A couple different podcasts, and one of them was at an antler scoring event. And I talked to a lot of the people that were bringing in some of the deer were talking about how they were using, got into mock scrapes really hot and heavy. And this wasn't the mock scrapes that I knew. The mock scrapes that I knew was, like you said, back in the day where we thought, oh, it was just simply just a rut thing. You just go up, you kick up the dirt, you put a little scent down there in the
Yeah.
dirt, and then you walk
You
away,
sit
right?
it that 1 or 2 times, and then you forget about it.
Yep, and that was it. Like that was what scrapes were for a lot of us at a certain time. And now we're starting to see that it's not necessarily just that. And now to the point where I'm walking in the woods, like I was out, we were marking a property line because we're getting ready to do some salvage timber at this one farm. And this moment when you walk up on a tree and you're like, that would make a great tree for a scrape. Like it
Yeah.
just like it's almost
Yeah,
like
it's
those stupid little videos where like the lights come down from like heaven and like
yeah,
illuminate. It's
right.
just
Yep,
when you're looking at it, you're like, that would be the perfect spot. So now
yep.
I'm in that mode. Now 365. That would be a great tree. So, but
And the and like you just said, 365, dude, I'm telling you. People are like, deer only scrape and do that stuff during the rut, and that is absolutely not true. Like, that is not true. And
it
for
is not.
anybody that watching this that would love to see, pictures from yesterday morning, this morning, a week ago, they're actively hitting scrapes year round.
Mhm. They are.
Year round.
They are. The big thing now, most people might, so perception is reality to a lot of people. So they probably don't see the scrapes as much because they are hitting them, but they're not as prolific as what happens once September starts to hit, September,
Yeah.
October,
Yep.
when the pre-rut and the antlers start, the
Right.
testosterone starts to
Yep.
build.
And they're
They
starting
start
to
to,
rub and
yeah, they start to ramp those up a little bit. So once again, perception makes reality for a lot of people, but they do it all the time. I mean, they are that is a form of communication for them. It's the same.
exactly.
It's almost like their Twitter. It's almost like their Instagram, their Facebook, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it's not just bucks. It's does, it's fawns.
Yep.
Does bring
Yep.
their fawns
Yep.
to these. The fawns then get imprinted on it. Like it is an all deer communication thing for sure.
Absolutely. And like I
For
said, like there's a difference because like I've been in the stand and I've had bucks come in, that late October phase when they're really just scraping. Dude, I've watched this buck make 5 different small he just walk 5 more yards. He made 5 different scrapes. Now, the chances of that buck coming back to those 5 scrapes are very slim. I'm not saying that he won't. Versus a community scrape, like I was saying, like if you find 5 trails that all intersect and it comes to the middle, and there's a scrape, the size of a truck hood, that's a scrape that that deer is going to on a daily basis. That's the one that he's going to check every day until he smells a hot doe.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that I like to set up on.
Yeah.
Those
See,
are those are usually your killer scrapes.
now
And
I
and
have
like I said, if you can make one and let the deer take that over and turn it
um,
into a social hub scrape like that, dude, those are absolutely killer. You throw a stand 25, 30 yards from that thing, you will kill a giant right there.
scrapes is one of those things that, like I said, if you use them correctly, like it's something to add to your repertoire of what you're doing. Like it's not the ultimate fix to everything. There's other things that you want to do as well, but it's a great tool to put in there.
Yeah.
I've even had does that will sit by a scrape that a buck has been using. It's like she's sitting there, and
Oh, yeah.
you know why she's there, right? We all know
Yeah,
why she's there.
absolutely.
She's waiting for him to come back.
Yep.
Um, so it's like I said, it is a communication hub for deer, and they use it year round. So definitely something to
Yeah.
look into, and nothing to shy away from. But it's also one of those things where you just can't find some random spot in the wood, put a rope up, spray it with scent and hope that the deer come and start hitting it. Like,
No.
and then you're gonna be extremely disappointed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, you
so, I mean, the way I utilize it, like I said, dude, the main thing I do when I'm out scouting, I'll find pretty heavily trails, and, like, if you're a woodsman, like, like, a deer trail that's walked, once or twice versus a main trail. When you get on the
know,
main trails and you start walking them things, and then, like I said, you come to 3, 4, 5, 6 sometimes different trails that all come to the middle, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find a scrape or a rub in that area, and those are crucial.
yeah, they are. They are definitely crucial. The thing about it, high deer activity, like you gotta find those spots that the deer are actually going to be at. Like we said, you just can't absolutely just throw something up in the middle of the woods
No,
somewhere and expect that it's going to. You
no.
you actually have to do a little bit of scouting and find these
Yeah,
locations. And
yeah.
then, or here's the thing too: take over a script that's already been made. That's another thing you
And
can do.
that's kinda what, like, in the description on Scrape Addict, it's a mock or existing scrape scent. So, like you said, find one that's already being used, apply some Scrape Addict on it, and that's gonna, all the other deer that's already using it, they're gonna be like, "Hmm, who's these deer?" You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's a blend of buck and dove, so it's just gonna
Mhm.
keep their curiosity going, like, "Oh, there's someone new in the neighborhood," you know what I mean? And then it's just gonna continue to make them come back and use it time and time again.
Yes, absolutely. So here's a question for you though, right? And this is one of those ones that are 50-50. So there's some people that are like really super like scent um scent control, super, especially when it comes to doing their scrapes and stuff. They'll use the rubber gloves, they'll use the whole thing. Like when you go out, what's you're already shaking your head. Go tell me,
Nah.
tell me your thoughts, man. What do you do?
I mean, I'm not against those guys by any means. Deer definitely do have noses on them. I mean,
Mhm,
that's what keeps them alive, their nose and their eyes. But dude, this morning, I can send you a trail camera picture from this morning, actually, before we jumped on here. I ran out to one of my properties and, freshened up the scrape that I got and threw some corn. And I mean, I was grabbing that rope by my hand and no gloves, no nothing,
mhm,
3 or 4 sprays and walked away. And I mean, I've always done that. And I mean, I got thousands of pictures of deer using it that next night, that next morning. So, I mean,
mhm,
I man, I don't know how I wanna word this. I also I just feel like it's the deer, you know what I mean? Like, some deer are different than deer, If,
mhm.
he's a 5, 6-year-old and he comes in there and he gets close to your rope or your scrape and he kinda smells that human scent, like, yeah, he's gonna be a little leery. But 9 times out of 10, that scent's gonna cover your human scent, so
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
I don't I don't
I
wear
agree with
gloves.
you on that. I agree with you on that. Each deer has their own kind of personality, right? They all do. Some are a little bit more cautious than others. Some are reckless. Some just don't care, right?
Right.
Um, and even I've noticed that you can run into. I don't care what scent you use. There are certain deer that just absolutely don't like it. They're like, "Yep, nope, don't like it. Don't want nothing to do
Yeah,
with it." I
100%.
don't know if they've had a bad experience with something similar to it and it's locked in their brain. I don't know what the actual scientific other than they're just them. Like and I know
Right.
some guys they'll see something happen and like, oh, the deer ran away from them. They give us that deer, right? That deer
Yeah,
particularly
see, and I've had
like,
guys that I've sold Scrape Addict to that had it out, and, you get the yearling does come in and they smell it
mhm,
and they bust out of there and they're like, "Man, I don't know," like, I'm like, "Well, honestly, like, they're probably smelling that dominant buck and they're probably like, 'Yeah, I'm getting the hell out of
nope.
here.'" Yeah. But then, like, the next day, the same guys will send me, a video of another deer hitting it. Doesn't bust out of there, doesn't spook, doesn't nothing. So
Mhm,
I really feel like it's the deer.
it is.
But also, I've noticed too, like once the deer kind of take it over and start
Mhm.
leaving their own sense on it, it'll help that a lot. Like it really does. It'll help that a lot.
Yes, absolutely. It does. It does for sure. I've seen that as well. So
Yeah,
I mean, mock scrapes has definitely changed what I do and how I approach things. And we have
absolutely.
and we have one of the properties I hunt. I have permission on it. The property owner talked to me. He says, "Hey, we need to change what you're doing to those mock scrapes." I said, "Oh, why is that?" Because I figured he's going to tell me I need to stop doing it because I think he was getting ready to blame me for
He's
why he
like,
was.
"No, dude, you got the dirt beat up the
He's
sides
like,
of a
no.
truck bed."
He's like, I need you to start running some of those by my stands. I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely, brother. I will do that for you. I figured the
Yeah.
conversation would go the other way. He was going to tell me to stop, but he's like, no, actually, I want I need some down this way towards my stands. I'm like, I can do that. Like, I will set it up. We'll have a whole system through here before I'm done. So,
Right. Another tip for anybody that's listening, dude, field edges too are killer for scrapes. They're
mhm,
constantly on fields, in the summertime. So if you find a really good trail going into, hardwoods and coming to a crop field and you
mhm.
find an overhanging branch on the field edge, man, them are killer, dude.
Yeah, they are. They are. I I had a podcast with a guy who runs a food plot seed company out of Michigan. He's a really cool dude. Um, and we were talking about like if you can create an area where you have the three main things, you have food, water, and communication, you're going to have the hot spot right there. And when I say communication, we're talking scrapes, we're talking rub trees, we're talking these things. Places for them to communicate, places for them to eat, places for them to drink. You have all three of those in that little area. We kind of refer to it like that new gastro pub that just opened in town, the hot pub or the hot bar that
Yeah.
everyone's going to, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. These are the things that will take your hunting and your property to the next level if you utilize them
And
correct.
that's honestly like how I have a lot of my scenarios set up. I use Domain food plot seed. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. It's actually a
Right.
pretty big company, Domain.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of their stuff is pretty easy to work with, minimal equipment. A lot of their clovers and chicories are straight throw and grows. So I got a kill plot at one of my properties. It's not even half an acre. It's just a little small kill plot inside the woods, probably 100 yards from thick bedding. And that's where I run a lot of my intel right there. And I got mineral, I got clover, chicory, and the rope. And like I said, it's nonstop all day. It could be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll have deer come through there and hit that rope, hit my mineral, hit the clover, and roll right back into bedroom. So,
Mhm.
um, them spots, like you said, if you got those three, water, and especially water, some food, and communication, dude, you're in the wheelhouse.
You are in the wheelhouse.
You
In
are in
the
the
wheelhouse.
wheelhouse.
Oh man. Well, I mean, we have covered a lot today, man. Is there
Yeah.
anything, before we really close this up, we got a little bit of time yet, but is there anything that in particular that you want to dive down into? Like any current issues, anything that's just nagging you want to just get out there?
Um, Man, not really. I really don't have anything, dude. No, not really. Unless you
Yeah,
have something on mind.
no, 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 not really. I mean, so not in particular. I mean, we covered a good bit of stuff, man. We got a good bit about the product line you have there, where to find it, the availability and things like that. But
Yeah.
like so last year, we talked a little bit off air. Last year was catastrophic down in southeastern Ohio with the EHD outbreak. And so out west where you're at, how did you guys see a lot did you have a lot of issues with not CWD, but EHD?
Um, so we did. Our numbers weren't near as high as like more southern Ohio was, but we definitely had a pretty good outbreak up toward this way. There was quite a few deer that was found near water or in water.
Yeah, it's never good.
Um, no, it wasn't. But I don't think it really wiped it out like it did more south or west, kinda where you were at.
Yeah, it was pretty catastrophic there. And we would like to thank you for your support of the Chasing Your Experience podcast. If you'd like to continue to support the podcast, then please check out our online store at bonfire.com. There, you can purchase exclusive Chasing Your Experience podcast t-shirts and hoodies for all members of your family. Check out the link down in the description to find the store. And now, back to the pod. Um, it's just we're on the topic of disease, and this is an interesting one because this is, and I'm not, I don't know, it's one of those very hot button topics of CWD and how conservation groups are going about trying to, I guess, manage it or just deal with CWD in general. And this is an interesting topic because this is going to affect, businesses like yours if CWD becomes one of the main catalysts for a lot of decisions, and that is the use of natural scents. And that's
Yeah.
what I was kind of curious, like, has that come across your radar? Have you ran across some issues with that? Because I'm trying to think, I don't know if Wisconsin's still doing it, but I think Wisconsin had like maybe a ban on like natural scents. And there's a few others
Yeah.
that don't allow natural scents to be used.
Right. So when I originally started all this, I did a lot of that research, and I think there's really only a couple states that don't allow, natural scents as an attractant to help
Oh,
utilize. So I'm hoping I don't ever have that issue. If I do, we'll just come out with a different product, man.
keep on, we will keep on
Yeah.
going, man. I'm not
Yeah,
stopping.
absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
I hear you, man. I wonder if that was ever a concern. I'm glad. I mean, I think anybody getting involved in this is probably one of those concerns you probably should at least look into and maybe have some
There's
products.
actually a lot of things that you gotta look into, dude, when you're, selling urine. Obviously, like, mailing it, it's gotta be wrapped certain ways, it's gotta be packaged certain ways. There's a lot that goes into running a small I
Mhm.
don't wanna say a business. I'm
Yeah,
definitely a small business owner, but, there's a lot that goes into it.
yeah. A lot of behind the scene things that people don't see and realize. And
Absolutely.
people are like,
Absolutely.
why is this bottle of pee 18.99? It's like, well, because you don't
Yeah.
understand all the other stuff that goes into this and the things I have,
Absolutely. Right.
we have to follow uh,
Right. Yeah.
to get this done. So,
Right.
eh,
Yeah, the scent between the scent, the labels, the bottles, uh, it's it's a lot.
so future steps, man. Where do you see yourself going here? What's the 5 year plan? Do you have? I mean, hopefully you have one, but what's the 5 year plan? What are you looking for?
Man, 5 years. It's hard telling with me, dude. I'm a hustler, man. I'm a go-getter. I want it bad. I want whitetail addicts and turkey tweakers to be huge. I really do. I've always, kind of used Whitetail Edge. I don't know if you're familiar with Ben Rising, Whitetail Edge. I've always kind of
Yeah,
used him as like a role model. That's
yeah, he's kind of
originally where
local.
I really, yeah, that's originally where I wanted to take all this. It's like more of a web show and film, and I'm still all about film. But when 4C, offered me to take over the scent line, I couldn't back it down. He wanted me to be successful with him,
Hmm.
and I had to take the opportunity, you know what I mean? So, coming out with my own scents, that was a big deal for me, that was a big jump, and
Yeah,
I'm proud of myself for taking that on because, like I said, it's a lot of responsibility and there's a lot of stuff that goes into owning a business.
there is, but you know you will not be successful without taking a risk. Like you have to take a risk,
Exactly, and, you can't fail unless you try.
right?
So,
And even
here we are.
even if you do fail, like you can't be mad when you fail. You have to have the courage to fail. Like you have got,
No.
or and you got to, or if not, you
Right.
will you you can live status quo, right?
Right,
Um,
yeah.
I
And then,
mean,
like I said, dude, the way that it's rolling right now, I've got tons of sales out right now, and every single person that's purchased a bottle has done nothing but send me positive results, and I've got great following. I've got a lot of good people behind me, so it's kind of uphill from here. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think it was Jim Carrey said that his father had worked his entire life for a job that he hated just because it was safe, and
Yeah.
he's like, I did not want to live that way. Like I
Right. See,
wanted,
and that's kinda where I'm at too, like, I I just wanna turn my passion into a job, like, it's great like, don't we all? Like, obviously, but, like, I'm the person that, like, puts the time in, the effort, I'm trying to do everything right, legal,
mhm,
getting the LLC on
absolutely,
Whitetail Addicts and all that stuff, so I'm legal and no one can take my name, my logo, just I'm doing all the things, so I'm doing it right, and I appreciate everyone that's always supported me. Like I said, dude, when I started, the content, I had like 100 followers for the longest time, and now I think we're almost to 2K. I mean,
Yeah.
TikTok, we're at like almost 4K. So I mean, we're growing, we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah. You just gotta keep grinding, man. It's the one
Yeah,
day,
absolutely.
like I had one video or one photo, and these social medias are so weird on how they work. Like I had one photo. All it was a picture of a bullet hole in paper when I was tuning my bow. And that's the one for me that went absolutely
I'm
crazy,
just yeah,
just
yeah,
crazy, right? And then I've got these ones where I put a little bit of time and effort into actually like, editing them, doing things like this. And, they don't hardly get any views. And then all of a sudden this one is just one photo with,
yeah.
with a stupid caption. And it's the one that went, boom, it just took off. So yeah, I'm a year into TikTok. I got to be honest with you. I was very adamant about not going into TikTok because of how they treat hunters and people in our
Yeah,
industry. Um,
it's hard to post, man.
it is.
I've got kill shots, man. It's just like you can't post them. You know,
No.
you can't post them on that platform, and like Facebook's super hard to grow on, man. Like I don't know if you know that, like notice it or not, but Facebook is like one of your hardest platforms, and it's more of like your Instagram and your TikToks that are more frequently used. So it's like the two higher
Yeah.
platforms. You can't really post the content that I'm wanting to post.
Yeah. No, and it's dumb.
Well,
I've yelled and screamed about it before. I've had a couple. I was like, the problem is with you is that you have this policy where you are naming something that's not accurate. Like this is not
right,
animal. This is not
right,
like I worked as a police officer. I can show you animal abuse. Like
right.
I've been to houses where animals were abused. And honestly, I'm not going to call them hunters, but I've seen people do some pretty nasty things to animals when they're out in the woods. Like I've seen some really dark dark shit happen. Like
Disturbing things.
yeah,
Yeah,
disturbing shit happened, and they were
yeah.
okay with like, dude. I'm telling you what, man. Like I understand that the ultimate goal is that I'm going to take the life of an animal, right? But I'm trying to do so in the most efficient and effective manner,
And
given
it's a little bit different too, like when you're providing for your family. Like, how do you think like the Indians and like the cowboys did it back in the day? Like our great grandparents, dude, they had to go out and fish and they had to hunt
Yep.
for their food. That's the tradition of hunting. Like it's just
Yeah.
that's how I grew up. That's how I raised. Like that's why when
Mhm.
I said in the beginning, like if it's brown, it's down. That's how I was raised. We're not out there to kill the biggest buck in the woods. We're out there to
Right.
put food on the table.
Mhm. I think we're all there at a certain point, but I think some of us
Right.
eventually realize that we either have enough in the freezer right now and we just get move on to where we look for the next challenge and we just want to remain challenged and engaged in it. So we start to go down
Exactly.
the route of chasing after the bigger, we're trying to
And
improve on the bigger deer.
And for Ohio, that's easy to do for, like, guys like me and you because we're a 1 buck state. So, like, yeah, we can go out and smack 2 does opening weekend, you know what I mean? But you're only that 1 buck. That's why I
Mhm.
started transitioning and taking it more serious, to harvest a mature deer, 3 and up. And I say 3, and a lot of guys will bash me on that, but, you get a good 3.5, 130-inch deer, there's not a lot of guys that's walking that deer.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you right now, I'm not.
I'm not. I mean, that's like this guy right here. This is, 130-inch 9 pointer, and he's getting smoked all day.
Like I'm sorry, this
Yeah, they
I,
just won't make it to that age around where, like, and all the hunting pressure around here, dude. Like, it's hard for them to get to that point.
if I see a deer, when I see a buck come in and I go, yep, he's probably not leaving that spot unless something
Yeah,
happens, right?
right.
But and I can't tell you a score because honestly, one of the bigger deer that I've shot, like older deer that I've shot, did not score well. Like he didn't even make Pope and Young. Uh,
Yeah.
Big, massive bodied deer. His base is, and actually I shot him off the ground, and I've told the story a lot, so I'm not going to dive into it a whole lot. But his base is I could barely get my hands around the bases of his antlers, but he only scored like a 124 or something, so he didn't even make Pope and Young. But I'm telling you, that was a brute of a deer, and I remember that because I had to drag him out. So So it's not a score thing for me. Yeah, there's a couple, like, I get it. Score is one of those things, but man, it's just the exhilaration. If I see something and I go, "Yep, that's it's going to happen."
Right.
Man, I think we have come to a pretty good stopping point here, man. We've covered a lot. We've got, the whitetail addicts out there. We got the turkey tweakers, all things that, I read, people go, if you listen to this, go check it out, man. And with that being said, why don't you go ahead and hit us with your socials, your any channels you got, anything you want to get out there, how people can find you, how people can order, all that stuff, man.
Okay, so Facebook, you can find me at WhiteTail Addicts or Turkey Tweakers. Instagram, TikTok, it's the official WhiteTail Addicts. I would really appreciate if you guys give me a follow. It'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Get a hold of
absolutely.
me if you guys need your sense.
And so so they need to direct message you. Do you have a preferred platform to direct message, or
Just any of them, man. Any platform that I'm posting on, you just send a message if you're interested, or like I said, you can purchase all three of these through the Alpine Hunting Company website.
okay, awesome. Do you know the website for that? You know the web address?
It's www.alpinehuntingcompany.com.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, Derek, is there so Devin. Whew. I put your two names together, Devin
Yeah.
and Derek, Devin and Craig, and became Derek. My apologies. Anyways, Devin, man, is there anything else you want to get out there that any final closing thoughts for the people?
Before I jump off here, I'd like to shout out, 4C Whitetail Deer, Tyler Cooper. He's a great dude. He's always taking care of me. He's a very good man, and just would like to shout him out. And if you guys would jump over and follow 4C Whitetail Deer, he's got an awesome liquid mineral attractant. It's a 32-ounce jug, and I mean it's packed full of everything your deer need. And I've used it myself for 2 years now, and it's nothing but proven results as well. So if you can also purchase that through Alpine and or sending him a message directly, and he's a great dude to work with. Um, Also, B&B Custom Game Calls. He's a good one. Michael Hawk. He makes some awesome calls, whether it's turkey or deer. That's your go-to man. Also, another buddy, Marcus Garcia. He's got MRG arrow stands and accessories. He makes all your stuff that you need, for fletching arrows, arrow stand holders, custom camera boxes for your GoPros or your cameras. He's got some awesome gear as well. And all that stuff is on Alpine. We're all partnered through Alpine. So if you guys are interested in any of those products, dude, www.alpinehuntingcompany.com.
Well, sounds like we got a good place for most people to go to check this stuff out if they're interested.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Head over to that website and check it out. But Devin, I appreciate your time so much. I
Yeah, dude,
appreciate you
absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a blast, dude.
absolutely, man. Hopefully, maybe we'll do another one here in the future after we get some more footage coming in. You get some more, or maybe even
Yeah,
some more products coming out. Whatever, man. I'll be
yeah,
happy to. Be glad to bring you back on. I always love talking deer and hunting and
yeah,
turkey.
absolutely.
But yeah, dude, it's been a blast, and thanks again for agreeing to come on here, and
Yeah,
thanks to 4C Whitetail for turning me on to you so we can have this episode, man. Anything
yeah,
we can do to help each other out, man. It's word of mouth, man. It's getting it out there. There's a
right,
lot of there's a lot of noise and there are just the amount of people who are out there that don't even know that any of us exist. And then
right.
the more we get out there, the better chance we have. And I'm glad to help where I can.
Same here, man. Same here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all taking the last hour and 20 minutes of your day to sit and listen to Devin and I talk about all things whitetail, from whitetail addicts and even turkeys, my disdain of my life, turkeys, but with turkey seekers and stuff, man. We do appreciate you took that time because we know your time is valuable, and we don't take it lightly that you chose to sit and listen to the podcast and to hear Devin out. We ask that you follow and share the show on whatever podcast platform you found us on, and leaving a review helps more than you actually think. So please leave us a review. Head over to all Devin's socials. Head over to that Alpine Hunting Co. Go check them out and get your next orders, or at least just send them a DM and follow the journey that is going to be the whitetail addicts and also turkey tweakers. But with that being said, y'all, Until our experiences cross paths again, may you have the courage to fail, but yet the humility to learn. And as always, we hope you stay safe out there, and God bless you.
Thank you for listening to the Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. Before you go, don't forget to leave us a review and follow the show on the podcast platform of your choice. Are you hungry for more Country Fried Outdoors? Then follow us on Instagram at Country Fried Outdoors, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Country Fried Outdoor Productions.